Yeah, welcome back guys to my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be showing you some ornamentation. We're just going to be designing some few ornamentation things that are usually common in buildings. We're going to be designing cornices. So when I talk about cornices, this is what I actually mean. This part of the building that is usually mostly for ornamentation. And when I talk about cornices, it's both the interior, and the exterior. So the interior cornice looks like this, and the exterior cornice looks like this. So we're just going to be looking at how you can create both of them and how you can use them in designing or ornamentation of your building. So we're going to first design the exterior one, and then I'm going to design the interior one, and then I can finish it off. And you can use the same method in designing other things like the skirting of your building, and those types of details that are usually very important in your building. So I'm going to show you how you can design the exterior cornice, and then we are going to look at the interior cornice. So I'm going to go to do this by using the complex profile, and I'm going to open the profile manager and open a new one. So I'm going to make sure this one is under concrete. So I'm going to enter concrete and place that one as the reference. So I'm going to create a new one, and I'm going to create exterior cornice. And then I'm going to press OK to open up my page here. So I'm going to select this one that is there, and I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to make sure I have the origin point at where I want it. This X is where the origin point is. And I'm going to draw my cornice design. So I'm just going to take my line tool, and maybe I can actually import the cornice that I had earlier in my picture, but actually cannot import it inside here. So I'm going to just draw out a random cornice that I have designed. So I'm going to use I want the height of my cornice to be 200. Then I'm going to enter, and then I'm going to go up to maybe 150 here. And then I'm just going to draw a design that is more like something that is going to be more attractive, or it's going to catch eyes, like something like that. So I'm just going to do that, and just finish it off like this. So we have something like this. So maybe I can design by do something here, maybe increase that one like that, and maybe that like that. Something just random like this. So something that is going to just add to the aesthetics of my building. So I'm just going to do that, and then I'm just going to push it in front a bit so that we have something like this. So this is going to be my exterior cornice, and I'm just going to first of all just make this place a bit sharp like that. So once I finish it, I'm going to save it as a beam. So I'm going to click the wall, click the beam, and unclick the wall, and then I'm going to save, and it's going to appear like something like this. So I'm going to press X, so because I've finished, and I can now go to my ground floor and draw my exterior cornice onto my building. So I'm going to do that by just going to my beams, and then I'm going to go to here. I'm going to change it to custom beams, and then I'm going to search for what I have. So this is what I have, and then I'm going to just draw what I have in my plan. So I'm just going to start with that place and just follow the whole wall like that. So I'm going to go like this. Let's continue going like that. Let me make sure it's okay. Go like this, like that. It's just following the corners of my wall. So it's gonna zoom in and look at the corners there, and go up to there in backspace. This one is a bit there, and then I can finish it off with joining it there like that. So once I've done that, I can actually just press the beams that I've just created. I'm going to shift and just select all of them so that I can group them and select them as one. So I'm going to come here. Let me escape first, then shift, continue selecting all of them until we finish them. And then like that. And after selecting all of them, I'm just going to come here, up here, and then group them. And then I'm just going to change the surface finishes. Before we look at the 3D, I'm going to come to here and look for my surface. Let me actually just go like this. Yeah, here it is. Surface overrides. Then I'm just going to change this one from white to maybe something like yellow rough, because we have this in the exterior, and then the height is going to be, I'm just going to change the height a bit. I think this one is okay, but maybe let me just make it 3000. And then I can press continue like that. And then I'm going to go to my 3D and see what I've just done. So it's going to be, how does it look like? So let's just wait to load in. Yeah. And you can see we have something like this. So something that adds to the aesthetics of your building. So I'm just going to zoom in so that you can see what we have. I'm going to select it again, and maybe I can just drag it a bit downwards so that it does not go too up. So I'm going to select that one. Actually, let me Control D and then just drag it downwards a bit, just somewhere there. So after I've done that, you can see it's going to update, and I'm going to see where it's going to be. Actually, let me zoom in again and just drag it to where I want it exactly. So Control D, then just take it and drag it there. So Control D, then just take it and drag it to the topmost part of your building. So it's going to, then you can escape now, and we have our orbits to see what we have. So you can see this is what we have in terms of our cornice. Just something that is usually added to buildings to add to their aesthetics. So that's how things are, and that's how we make the exterior cornice for a building. So the next one is going to be interior cornice, which allows you to have that transition between the ceiling. Let me just enter the living room, and just enter and roll into the living room like that. So this allows you to have the transition between the wall here and see this joint that is here. You don't want to see that in the interiors. So I'm going to be using the interior cornice to hide this area here. So I'm going to go back to my ground floor, and then I'm just going to open up my complex profiles again and profile manager, and then add another one. This one I'm just going to call it interior cornice, because I think I have another one called like that. So I'm just going to call it int cornice like that. And then I'm just going to press OK. And I'm just going to delete this one that is there. So I'm going to make sure my origin is still in place. And I'm going to now draw my interior cornice. So for this one, it's not going to be solid like the exterior cornice. It's just going to be a bit different. Maybe 50 like that. Let me say 50. And then it's going to change like that up to somewhere there. Let me actually just draw the whole thing first before I do anything. So let me just draw the whole thing, and I want it to be like 150 maybe. And then I'm going to enter, and then I'm just going to draw something like this, and then draw something like this, just something random maybe. Yeah, so with that done, I can now make the design. I'm just going to click my fill, click at one point and do it like that. Let me first make it 1 point like this, and then click on another point and do it like this, and click on another point down here, do it like that, and another point to make it maybe like this. So with that done, I can now click on this point to draw it there, and then this point here, I want to create something here like this. So let me just make sure it's okay. Let me drag it to the edge there, and we have something like this. So let me make sure this one is okay too, like that. Zoom in. I think I'm just trying to make a curve here. So I'm going to now curve it like this. Let me use the arc to curve it like that. And then I'm going to do the same for this one. So I want to make it like something like this. So let me now make it even and just make it okay like that. So I'm just going to make sure this arc goes all the way around and comes like that. So it's just a matter of just designing your own your own design for your cornice. So I just want to make it even like that. So with that design, I can now the thing the way I'm making it is usually for fixation, because maybe they're going to use nails to drive them in using these points here, these 2 points, and this point is just going to be empty like that. So if I have finished like that, I can now, let me just make sure everything is okay by making that thing like that, or actually just adding another sharp point like that. So I can now save it like a beam, and then I'm going to unclick my wall, and then I'm going to save like that, and then I'm going to press X. Then I'm going to go back to the ground floor. I'm just going to do it for my living room. Then you can see how we're going to do it. So I'm going to go to my beam, and I'm going to change it from interior to this one that I've made. Then it's going to be that. And I'm going to change its surface to what we have in the interior. I think this one is okay, but I'm just going to make it rough, yeah. Then I'm just going to draw it inside my walls here. So I'm going to start with this point, and I'm going to draw it inside my walls there. So like that, up there, just for my living room. Don't worry about the openings, because it's a bit higher than where they are. So just going to show. So I'm going to finish it off like that. And let me see. Let me just select all of them so that I can group them again. Let me select all of them like that. Let me finish off by making this joint okay. Yeah, I would select all of them now. Shift, then select each of these beams. First of all, let me make this one a right angle, then select the other ones like that. Zoom in and select all of them like this. So I'm going to group them again, and we're going to see how they look like in the interior. So this is what it looks like. It's something that allows you to have a transition between your wall and ceiling. So that's what it actually looks like in the interior. So it adds to the ornamentation of the interior. And I can actually show you the ones that I did earlier before we did this one. So let me just show you in the bedrooms. In the bedrooms, I had this one. So you can see it's something that contributes to our interior. So I don't see those joints that are there. So it's just a part of interior design. And I can do the same thing for my kitchen. I can just go back and do the same thing for my kitchen. I'm just going to escape, going to go to my beam again, make sure it's at interior cornice, and then I'm just going to zoom in and draw it again. So I'm going to come here, draw it, the whole kitchen area. So just going to draw up the edges of the walls and finish it off like that. So with that done, I can maybe just group these ones too. Let me escape, shift, then select all of them that I want, and I can now group them so that I can select them as a whole. So let me come back to my kitchen and see what I've just done. So let me scroll downwards just scroll outwards first, and then just look for where my kitchen is. So there it is. And you can just look at at the ceiling, and you can see we have our cornice that it allows for us to have that aesthetic feel inside our house. So that's how you do your cornices for your building, for either the exterior cornice or the interior cornice. So it's just a matter of using a complex profile. And you can use the same complex profile in terms of skirting, where you want to skirt your buildings. Skirting is what is usually down here. You don't want to see this transition between the wall and the floor. You can do the same method you have just done with the cornices to do your skirting. So yeah, I think that's how you do your cornice. And yeah, hope you've learned how you can apply this knowledge in something else. And thanks for watching.